What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the kingdom. My name is Drums, joined as always by the brothers behind King Golf, Thomas Jordan Headley and Regan Headley. Kicking things off on the first tee tonight, we got Reg. How you doing, my friend?
Drums, I'm doing very good. We had a 1 week break off the podcast. We played a ton of golf in Clear Lake, and it's Wednesday today. I played a makeup match for men's league on Monday, and I played again last night. So I've played a ton of golf in the last week and a half. So I had about 2 minutes of rain throughout the whole thing too. So how could you ever ask for anything more than that? We lost our match last night, so we're officially out of men's night. We lost in the semis, but it is what it is. That's the farthest we ever made it, so
it is what
it
is.
Perfect. We'll get into some family stuff later. Next up on the tee, his brother Jordan. How's it going, buddy?
Really good, boys. We got a bunch of actually, I'll touch on the golf first. Lost out on Friday at the Tamarack. It's Wednesday today, and so I got about 4 days off. I think that was the most I've spent this summer without golf. So I went to the range tonight just because I needed to, and was hitting them okay. But we got a bunch of new and exciting stuff on here. We all have headphones in, so it should be a little clearer. There'll be no echo going forward. We hit 1,000 listens. Again, don't know if that's good or bad or what, but we kind of want to be transparent with things throughout here. So we reached 1,000, I think, over the weekend, and possibly, don't know yet, but this could be the inaugural episode that's going to be on YouTube. So we all got our mics on, we got our makeup on, and we all got our rooms spick and span.
Yeah, clearly your room looks good.
Yeah, it's really tidy.
This is kind of a spare room / office / storage room for the King Golf stuff. So
what's up with you, drummy boy?
My camera's definitely not showing the rest of the room. It'll just stay focused on the wall because it's a disaster as well. Not much myself. We're in the constellation side side of our men's night.
You just go out there and look at stars, or
just,
what?
Star seeing
the
from now on.
side?
Yeah. Once you lose, you just have to sit there and stare at the sky.
Oh, that's good stuff.
So we played.
We haven't really had a chance to. Sorry, we kind of got a delay here with these headphones now, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird.
Sorry, Drums. I just wanted to mention that we haven't really, with Cockrell being on the last one, we haven't really had a chance to have an official send-off for the Leafs. So you got a few Leafs jerseys in the background, so I just thought I would, I don't know, remind you, I guess.
That goes out to you too, Marty.
Daggers.
Where were you, Drums? You were staring at stars, and then what?
I was staring at the stars, and then what was I going to say? Last night we played like the best golfers in our league. So their handicaps are obviously low, right? So I had a question for you guys. Like, do you ever feel bad when you have like a decent round against guys that are, I guess Reggie would be giving strokes probably more of the time, but like when you're getting strokes and you're kind of playing good, do you ever feel bad in men's night?
I can't comment on
that. I can't really comment on that either, Drums. There's a few guys lower than me, I think, in the league, but it's usually giving strokes as well. And I'll tell you, on the other side of it, I feel shafted when there's guys out there with a 25 handicap who are making birdies and stuff, but that's just part of it.
Last night we had our semifinals, as I said, and I made 6 or 7 birdies, and we lost like with 3 holes to go. The guys finished net birdie, net eagle to win 3 up, and it's like, what are you supposed to do to that?
Yeah,
and that's probably goes to touch on, would they feel bad about that? I don't know. Like, they're making birdies. I don't know.
And I guess at the same time too, like that's why the handicap's in place to some extent. Like yesterday I made 2 birdies. I didn't birdie a hole that I had a stroke on though. So like it was kind of different. I just played the hole good. But at the same time, if I was dunking birdies on every par five and still getting a stroke, I'd be like, eh.
Yeah.
I personally think that handicaps should have some other factors other than just the end score. So, for example, if there's guys out there, say with a 25 handicap, but they on average make 2 or 3 birdies around or something, or even 1 birdie around, whatever it may be, there should be some sort of system in place to either to lower that a little bit, just to because there's guys out there who will take 3 triples in a row and then get a few birdies, and I don't think a 25 handicap is a true representation in match play, because with triple bogeys and stuff, you're already out of the hole, so it doesn't matter really what you take, but then you get a birdie and you're in a lot of holes. So I think that in the future with the technology and stuff, I think that there will be a way to adjust the handicap somehow. So guys who make a ton of birdies who are higher handicaps will see that go down a little bit.
One other thing too. So we started on 4 last night. So we got to 16. We lost number 16. So there was like, what is that, 5 holes to play. And we got to number 17. And the guy that we were playing against had a stroke on 17, which is a par 3 at Gilbert. And I'm going to strongly push next year to have par 3 strokes completely eliminated, because, I mean, we're 1 down with 5 holes to play. And not that I take men's night that serious, but when you're in the semifinals, you kind of want to win.
Yep.
Like, your instincts take over. And he knocks it to 20 feet. Like, he's
You're
putting
done.
for a 1.
Yeah.
Like,
Our league doesn't
know.
have strokes on par 3s anymore.
Yeah, we
I
got
would rather
away
give up 2
from that
strokes on the
decision.
hardest hole in the course than a stroke on a par 3. Because that's not fair to me. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I had knocked it to 15 feet, and I'm expected to make that 15-footer to saw the hole off. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. But that's topic for another day, I guess.
So yeah, big week at the Tamarack for the boys. Jor, you had a big event happening for yourself. Tell us about it, buddy.
Did I?
Yeah, walk us through
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that old
Yeah,
thing?
we've been joking around on here for a little while about the hole-in-ones, that I was the only one who didn't have one. So I got a bunch of messages saying welcome to the club, and yeah. So I don't know how far you want to get into it, but it is pretty special. So it was day 2 of qualifying at the Tamarack, the Sunday. I was playing with Rigo, Jaron Kyle, and Mike Sparrow, Birdman. And I wasn't playing my best golf, I wouldn't say. I kind of had a tough first day, and second day was kind of more of the same. And then so we got to the back 9, which is generally the harder 9, and just kind of on track to be okay. And pull up to the 12th hole, which is, I would say, the hardest par 3 on the course, and probably one of the harder holes on the course, in my opinion. And I've said that before. It's a downhill about 140 yards with a bunker in front and a whole bunch of shit behind it. So I hit a pitching wedge. I probably hit the best shot of the day, maybe the week, and I hit it. And when it was in the air, I said, yeah, I forget if I said go in or be close or something like that. It looked good from the second I hit it.
I think you said be good.
Yeah. And so we watched it. It landed about 5 feet right, which was above the hole, and stopped, and then just kind of started rolling down towards the hole. And it disappeared. So I looked over at the guys, and everybody had a pretty good idea that it was in the hole. But there was kind of a pretty big shadow behind the hole from the big spruce tree in front of the green. So behind the hole. So I said, okay, I don't want to celebrate yet, because I don't want to just have this huge celebration and go up there and it rolled off the green or something like that, or sitting in the shadow. So I said, I'll run down there and check. So I completely blacked out when I was running down there. It was, like I said, 140 yards downhill. And I didn't see it. I was about 20 yards away, getting to 10 yards away, got on the green, still didn't see a ball. So I was thinking to myself, like, this has got to be in. So I looked at the hole and I didn't see any ball in there. So I went right over top of it, and it was kind of on the inside portion of it. So it was Bridgestone, Tiger ball sitting right there. And I don't know if you guys seen the video or not, but ran up the hill, threw her in the trees, and we celebrated. So
You
the
chucked
funny
the
part
ball in the
about
trees?
that, yeah, well, I just threw it up. I said had a few swear words, and I was pretty excited. So
Like
we
you
found
threw
the
it
ball.
away? Oh.
No.
Like
I
just
threw
in
it up
that
in
spruce tree in front of the tee box.
Oh. I was like, holy shit.
It was pretty cool. We had some hugs up there and some yells, and then we went to the next hole, 13. And
And
I
the cart girl pulled up on the tee,
yeah,
though.
cart girl pulled up.
So that was
just
perfect.
coincidentally. She had no idea, so pure coincidence. She pulled up on the tee, so we got some beers. Luckily, we had a bit of room behind us, so we could kind of dick around a bit. But then I teed up the ball that I got a hole in one with. I was completely out of it, so I teed off on 13 with the ball that I just got a hole in one with. I hit a good shot, actually. It was middle of the fairway, and then I realized I hit it, so I changed balls. And then I just hit the lamest shot of the week. Like I hit a 7-iron, I think like 50 yards into the trees. Ended up taking a 7 on the next hole, and I could hardly hold the club after that. It was Rigo said, "Don't get grumpy now," but we were still in qualifying, right? So I still needed to pull my shit together a little bit, and so I took a 1 and then a 7. So that's what the scorecard looks like.
Nice. That's a good story too.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, buddy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot to report. Rigo had a few good matches at the end. He also hit a guy. I don't know if you planned on talking about this, Rigo, or not.
Yeah, I did, big time.
Did you? Okay.
You hit that guy.
It's crazy. But
Same round.
yeah. So I guess to touch on George's story, I mean, it was one of those things. We had our group, and you tend to get a little nervy, I guess, when you're playing in a tournament stroke play, and everybody's pretty uptight. And I bet you if he would have got that hole in one on hole 3 of the first day, everybody would have qualified a couple flights lower, just because as soon as that happened, it kind of just released that pressure that was built up of the qualifying. Like after that, it just seemed like we were just playing golf again. But
That's true.
Before that, I mean, it wasn't much fun qualifying. Everybody was kind of hacking it around, and there wasn't many putts going in, and it was kind of tough. And then all of a sudden that goes in, and it's just like a weight's lift off the shoulders, and we started crushing beers, and it was just like, okay, well, this is golf. Like, this is what we're here to do. And then it kind of just, it got a lot better from there. But so that brings us up to the 18th tee at Clear Lake, and the tee box is right at the front. I'm way higher in the qualifying than what I thought I would be. So I think, whatever, I'll just hit driver. I'm about a 6-pack in since hole 12 now. And I step up there, and we're downwind, and the tee box is right at the front. And there's guys putting on the green, and I turn around and say to these guys, what do you guys think? Like, should I hit, or should I wait for them to clear? And these guys are like, well, like if you hit it, like it's just going to roll up there anyways. Like, what's the big deal? So I'm like, yeah, you guys are right. So I ripped a drive, like a high draw. And this guy's just leaning over to putt on 18 green. And all of a sudden he just like snaps his head up and starts jumping around. I'm like, holy shit, I just hit that guy. And so I like hop in the cart. I didn't know what to do. Like it looked like it just hit this guy like right, because we just lost sight of the ball, and this guy just snaps back. Like, I just hit that guy. So what am I going to do? So I drive up there, and I'm like, man, I'm so sorry. And I give him all this. I'm like, can I buy you a beer? Like, shit, I'm sorry I hit you. I didn't expect to hit it there. And he's like, no problem. I'm just happy that it didn't break my contact. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, it hit me in the eyeball. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, it came and one hopped off the ground, and I was putting, and it bounced up and hit me in the eye.
What?
And I'm like, what? And then I look at his eye, and it's like the color of my Caesar. Like, it was like so red. And I was like, oh my God, like even worse. Can I buy you something else? Like
a new car.
A beer wouldn't do that. But yeah, so that was a pretty wild ending to qualifying. And it went off his eye to like 15 feet. So I had a 15-footer for eagle to finish. Missed it.
So did you see the guy again?
Yeah, so it was a pretty eventful round.
I saw him driving away, and I apologize to him, but I didn't see him the rest of the week. He might not have come back. I probably wouldn't. So if you're listening to the podcast, there's about a 0% chance you are. Guy that I hit with the ball in the eye, I'm sorry again. I'll make it up to you sometime.
Yeah, that was a berserk.
Caught a shiner on the golf course.
The whole round was just wacky, but anyways, it was a pretty fun week. They did what they could with the Tamarack. There was no events or anything like that, but I mean, we still got in some beers after, obviously, especially after the hole in one. Had some buddies up there at the cabin, and yeah, I mean, it's always fun to play Clear Lake. I just felt so golfed out after that many rounds there, because it's stressful. It's a stressful course. It's fun, but not a whole lot of room for error on it.
One thing that I would say, just to, I guess, touch base on the Tamarack. I mean, a lot of our listeners are probably familiar with it, but if they're not, it's you qualify for 2 rounds, and it's a week-long match play. So there's championship flights, and then I think, was there 12 flights this year? I think, of 16.
I don't know.
So, I mean, the craziest thing that I experienced in the Tamarack, and that everybody else does, people think that just because you're not in the championship flight, if you're not in the first flight, like that there's not going to be any good golfers in your flight. And the amount of people that you talk to that are there for the first time that don't qualify quite as good as they want to, and they end up playing some guy in the 5th flight that shoots a 71 in the match play, and you wonder how that happens. He's in the 5th flight, but it's just that the qualifying gets so stressful, and there's only like about between 5 and 10 shots between the first flight and the 7th flight. So, I mean, it's not like guys are like, it's not like there's that big of a variety of golfers. I mean, obviously in the higher flights there would be, but you can get paired up against a guy who, I mean, can go out there and shoot under par. That guy that you lost to, Jor, that I don't know his name. I heard after that he was 67 or 68 at Shiloh this year. Like, you were in the 4th flight, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many good golfers throughout every flight that people back home don't really realize that, oh, why would you ever lose a match in the 4th flight? Well, yeah, that's why.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of really good golf to win any flight. Mm-hmm. I've played Saturday once, and I lost that match. That was the closest I've been. I think that was maybe the 5th flight. You have to remember that everybody there is weekend golfers. There's no professionals. So the range between the good golfers and the not so good golfers is not that big. And I mean, you could play one guy in the 1st flight one year and then meet him in the 6th flight the next year. It's 2 rounds of golf, and it's you're finishing every putt, and you're counting every shot you hit off the tee, and it tightens up your body, and a lot of guys aren't used to that. So I think once you get into match play, and the worst you can do is lose a hole, I think guys start swinging a lot freer and putting a lot freer and stuff like that. So it's true. Mm-hmm. It's just there's good golfers in every flight, and there's a guy in our league who's one of the better players in our league. I think he was in the 9th flight or something, and he didn't win the flight.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, I guess on that I would say we can get into a little bit of our own stories after. I'm sure Drums is probably tired of listening to us, and so is everybody else. So I would say we'll get into some of the follower/fan questions that we had this week.
Fans, we got fans.
We just kind of tossed it out there. We've been doing this a little bit. I really like doing it because guys come up with some pretty good questions, and it's a lot easier to plan the podcast when there's some good questions. So, Drums, you want to start her off with the first one?
Absolutely. And the first question came from Sean Rickman. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. But his question is, what is your music etiquette out on the course? Or what should be proper etiquette for music out on the course?
That's a good question. I think that it's something that I wanted to talk about sooner or later on the podcast. And I know that we've touched on it before, saying how the game's evolved into be less of a old man's game where there's a lot of rules and stuff. But the more I think about it, I don't know, I'm still torn on it. And I think that there's a time and place for it. And I think that it's hard because everybody has different tastes in music. I mean, if I'm out there with you, Rigo, and we have tunes on, we have a similar taste in music. It's not going to bug anybody. But if you're in men's night and the guys you're playing against don't listen to country music, then it can be a piss off for those guys. And I think that there's a time and place to be listening to music, especially loud. Guys out in their cart, and that's whatever. It just kind of reduces the quiet, I guess. But I think that it's good to have music in some places, but I think that people need to be a little bit more aware and conscious of what they're listening to and who they're with.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that another part of the etiquette would be that if you are listening to music and you're on a busy course and you're waiting on tee boxes, or there's a green that's close to the tee box beside you, I think you got to be aware that not everybody's out there that want. I mean, lots of people don't care if there's music, but there are some people that are still the old fashioned, and you got to respect that. So I would say if there's a tee box beside the green or a green beside the tee box, you pull up there and there's somebody close to you, basically within like would you say 50-foot proximity?
Yeah, wherever they can hear.
Just turn the tunes down a bit until they're gone. Then you can crank them back up and enjoy them in your group. But I would say that's kind of the etiquette. Most people should know that, but I mean, I guess there's lots of people that we talk about etiquette all the time. So maybe we assume that you would know, but some people don't, I guess. So,
what do you think, Drums? You listen to me? Yeah, you listen to music usually, or what do you do on men's nights?
Men's night I don't actually, but I mean, like if we're out with the boys or whatever, then yeah, there's always tunes going. But I get like if you're playing in men's night or something like that, like check with the guys you're playing with. Like make sure that they're good with you having tunes, even if it's quiet. Like some people don't want to hear it, even if it's quiet. They just want to be out there and just chill, I guess. But like unless you're in like kind of a shit show tournament and you can just party, then I mean you don't need to hear you a hole away. Like that's ridiculous. So yeah, keep it at a decent level with the volume, and yeah, like, and at the same time, I mean, it is a golf course. Like, you don't need to be having like a dance party either. So like, if you're just listening to chill tunes, then perfect.
Yeah, and I think that if you're one of those guys who likes to play early in the morning, I don't think there's any better sound than just like the air and the birds and you know what I mean, and you can hear the shots, and I don't know, like that's probably my favorite thing about golf. Rigo's having some technical difficulties here. We're gonna have to. I mean, we from the start, we've kind of tried to not edit this at all, so we're gonna have to do it even less editing now with video and stuff. So just bear with us throughout this stuff.
My phone's at 2%, and I had to plug into the jack, so I'm gonna have to go back to my old audio and listening here. But
that's okay. We had a good run.
Yeah, that's where I'm at here.
What were you saying, Drums?
I forget now.
Yeah, early mornings when the birds are chirping and I don't know. You don't need music at that time. I think that's the best sound that you could ask for on a golf course. But
yeah, that's kind of paradise.
Like you said, Drums. If it's the King's Par 3 or what's the one here? The Burt Cup. I mean, turn the tunes as loud as you want. Yeah. Rigo, what do we got next here? Can you hear?
Connor Shaw asked, man, I am in an absolute battle here. I had the email loaded up what the questions were, and now it kicked me out. So everybody just bear with me here for a couple minutes. I'm in all sorts of trouble here, but our buddy Connor Shaw, who has been responding to just about every question we've asked, he's been one of our most loyal followers. He's been texting me with some feedback. It's good to have guys like that because you kind of want to know where people are at in terms of what we're doing, if people are actually enjoying it. So basically he asked, time limit being set by courses to be off the course at night. So I know where he's going with this because he messaged me, I think it was before we went to Hecla, and I guess we kind of experienced that, hey, Jor?
Yep.
Because I know we were very high on Hecla, but I know he got kicked off at the same time as we did. I haven't experienced anything like that at any other course. Have you guys?
Wheat City's kind of like that. We've gotten in trouble a few times at Wheat City.
Every now and then they'll come out and just say they need the carts back, right? Like, I don't think if we had our own carts, they would care. So I think that's usually what the problem is. But, like, for the most part, like, when I worked at Dauphin and stuff, like, it was, if you can't see, then get the hell off the course. But other than that, you're free to go.
Well, at Wheat City, and I definitely don't want to throw Wheat City on the bus here at all. I love Wheat City and how much they've turned it around this year. But they basically put up a barricade on the first hole. I mean, it stops guys from going out too late without a tee time. And I'm thinking that some of that has to do with COVID, with just them knowing who's on the course and stuff like that.
For sure.
But Hecla was a different story. Rigo mentioned it that we had one of the better experiences of the year, I think, at Hecla. And when we got on, we teed off at about 4:30. So we drove from Brandon and Dauphin. And kind of the first thing the guy said to us was like, make sure you're off the course by 9. And we're like, okay, well, we'll try. I mean, it's only 4.5 hours, so we'll try our best. And the group ahead of us, they went a little bit faster. So they were done probably at about 8:40 or 8:30 or whatever it was. And we were coming down the 18th fairway at about 9 o'clock. And the guy out there is standing basically behind the green with his arms crossed and just kind of waited. He was going to send out the other group to come get us off the course. And I mean, talk about ruining an awesome experience out there just because a guy wants to go home 10 minutes earlier or whatever it may be. Like, I don't know. I mean, growing up as kids, that was the funnest part to me, was golfing till as late as you can't see anymore. And, I think that if they take that away, then it's taking a lot away from the game, I think.
We just to touch on how it is in Gilbert, we played our match on Monday night, man. Like, we finished on number 8. We hit our approach shots from 100 yards, and nobody had a clue where the shots were. Like, no idea. Like, it was that dark out. And that's fun, man. Like, I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know what the motive is there. I don't know if he just wants to get home earlier, or if his wife's making him get home at 9:20, or the husband or whatever it may be.
Easy. What's his name got in trouble for that? Milbury got in big trouble for that.
Kingdom podcast is canceled.
But it might be like even the grounds crews trying to water and stuff like that. Like, I get that, but at the same time, like, you should be able to, like, if you've got 2 holes left, like, they shouldn't be kind of up your ass like that.
Yeah. So I guess to conclude on that, I think that golf courses need to be open until you can't see, and that's just my opinion on it. But we should touch on Hecla quickly again, because the second day we were there, it was the pro. What's his name, Rigo?
Sandy Kurchiba.
Trick Shot Sandy?
Or Kurchiba. Trick Shot Sandy, yeah.
He was a beauty. So sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to confirm, it's Sandy, not Sammy. So if you're trying to find him after he tells you his name, just type in Sandy next time.
No, it's Sammy.
I think it's Sandy.
Is it?
That's why you could never find him that night. You thought he was lying, but it's Sandy.
Okay, so anyways, we played during the day and we had an awesome time out there. And then we asked him if we could go. I mean, when you're golfing with your buddies and stuff, and there's still daylight, you always want to play as much golf as you can. So we asked him to play another 9 holes, and he let us, and he was really nice about it. And then after the round, we went into pay, and we just kind of bullshitted with him there for about half an hour. He talked about his time playing hockey, and I think he was on the Australian tour and stuff. And anyways, he didn't end up charging us for the second 9. So he's a really nice guy, and different guy from the first night. But yeah, like I said, golf courses should be open until dark, I think.
Yeah.
And the next question, I guess it's me, eh? I'll segment to myself. Jeff Davis and Buddy Jeff. So this is a hot topic lately for a lot of people and a lot of groups, I think. So he asks, thoughts on gimmies in a tournament versus men's night versus round with the fellas. Thoughts on gimmies and I guess how we should be treating them.
I guess like tournament, is he just asking like more for like the Tamarack in regards to the Tamarack and stuff?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah,
Stroke
like
play tournaments.
well, in stroke play tournaments, I guess around here, like you shouldn't be having gimmies in stroke play tournaments. It's kind of my opinion.
Right.
Men's night usually are kind of like in that 3-foot range. I know everybody says like the length of a putter, right? It's in that 3-foot range. And then with your
Isn't that
buddies.
putter grip?
Oh, is that it?
I don't
Maybe
know.
that's why
Putter
my
seems
putting's
pretty
so
aggressive,
hot.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's what I always thought too. So I always thought like 3 feet.
It's like the putter head to the bottom of the grip.
Oh, see, there's 3 different thoughts that we have on it, so that just goes to show how muddy it is.
And then I kind of go, yeah, like I said, like 3 feet. And then if you're out with the boys, yeah, whatever, 3 feet.
Yeah.
Men's
I'll
night,
say,
actually, now I'm thinking men's night, you're probably more like 2 feet.
Yeah, men's night is kind of up to the other group who's giving them to you, right?
Right. Yeah.
In my experience of the Tamarack just this year only, and this is a small sample size, but it hits this question right on the head. The match that I played on Thursday, I played with a guy, and he made me putt. Well, first off, I missed a 2.5-foot slider to 3 putt, so that's okay. I don't mind putting sliders. He made me putt another one for birdie. It was about 2 feet, and I was kind of cheesed, so I just kind of stepped up, and I missed that actually. And it got so bad at the end of the round, he made me putt like a 6-inch putt. And if he's listening, I'm not. Actually, I am taking a shot about it. It was kind of a joke. Like I had to putt a 6-inch putt, and his was about a foot, and I just leaned over and threw his marker back to him. Like, so then that's the one side of it, and I ended up beating him. So take it how you want it.
Win.
The next match that I played against Jordan Trotter from Brandon, absolute beauty. He said on, I don't know what hole it was, and the guy that I was playing with played with me the day before too, because he always played with the same guy all week, kind of. So, anyways, Trotter gave me a putt that was about 3 feet on I think the 3rd hole, and it kind of just set the tone for the whole match. Like he said, we're not out here to win holes by somebody missing a 3-foot putt.
Yeah.
And the rest of that round, we gave each other 3-footers the whole round. Nobody had to sweat over those. Like we're in the second flight consolation. If you're in the championship flight, yeah, you're putting those. But second flight consolation, who cares about those? You win holes by making birdies and the other guy pars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think
and
it
if that's where
matters
it's
what
said at the
flight
start of
it's
the
in.
match. No, I know, but championship, you're probably putting those 2-footers.
So?
I would say.
I don't
But at the same time, those are the guys that are going to make it.
With that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I going to say on that? Oh, Rigo, you were there for. I lost 2. I lost 2 matches during the week on the final hole, and both times the guy had about a foot or maybe a little more than a foot to win. One was on 9 and one was on 18, and those greens are tough. And I gave both putts to them. I don't know if I say I regret giving the putts, but I'm happy that I did looking back, because like you mentioned, Rio, you don't want to win a match or make a guy lose a match for missing a 1.5 foot or 2 foot putt. Like they did what they needed to do. They deserve to win the hole, and I don't want to win the match because they missed a 2 foot putt. So yeah. I gave 2 gimmies. Like I said, looking back, I kind of was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have given them to them, because you never know on those 2 greens, anything can happen. But at the same time, I was pretty proud that whatever, that's just I'd rather lose like that than win the other way. So
Oh, 100%, man. That's I say to Dad the odd time though on men's night, like I would say I have to putt a lot more than I make other people putt, but like I can't stand watching somebody stand there and sweat over a 2.5, 3 foot putt. It's not worth it to me. Like I said, Dad, this is like a Gilbert playing the men's league. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
So me and Dad give pretty much every 3 foot putt just because what's it worth to win a hole by a guy missing a 3-footer? Like it's.
Yeah, you didn't win the hole. He lost it, right?
Right, exactly. I don't know. So that's where we're at with that, I guess. I guess we're all on the same page with that, so that's good.
Yeah, I think that there's quite a bit of controversy in terms of that. I think that for men's night and stuff, it's not as important, I don't think, because it's basically you're playing against the guys in your match, and if they're giving you the putt, that's what it is. But I think that no matter what, as long as everybody's playing on this by the same rules, then that's how it is. And I don't think that that's necessarily the case at Tamarack. I don't really want to get too far into it, but I think that there's some strokes that are maybe not counted properly and some putts that are maybe not counted in the Tamarack. And like Rigo mentioned earlier, the difference between first flight and fourth flight isn't that much. And if there's a group of buddies who are, taking 3 or 4 footers and guys in another group who are putting those and stressing over those, like, it's not the same playing field, I don't think, but that's just me. I don't know. I think the only way to get around that would be to either split guys up randomly or have guys play in twosomes randomly or something like that, because you don't want to take all the fun out of it, because it is a fun tournament, right? We're not professionals. But I think that the way that they report it and the way that they do everything with it, it should be an even playing field, I think. And
also on that, it's not to say that you're going to miss those 2-foot putts or the 3-foot putts. It's that you have to be, if you're playing with guys that you're going to get that 3-foot putt, you don't have to be so defensive. I mean, we're worried about that next putt, whereas those guys whack it 3 feet by and just walk by and scoop it up. But we don't need to get into that because there's probably a lot of guys that play honest about it. But it is, you're right, it has to be more of an even playing field. But it is what it is. And just one more thing on that, too. I wanted to just mention it because Scotty McCollum always used to say, and it's to avoid awkwardness when playing men's night, what's a gimme and what's not a gimme, just putt everything in the hole. That's one way to do it.
Sure enough.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about that this year in the league. Me and Tyler Thompson, we kind of talked about that. You talk about the pace of play and stuff, and I really don't think it would have much of an impact on it. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't want guys marking their balls when they're 2 feet away, because that does slow things down. So I don't know. It's a tough, and there's a reason why it's a debate, because there's no crystal clear answer for it. I don't think.
His reasoning was if it's that much of a gimme, then you should never miss it.
I know.
True.
I agree.
So, but I don't know. Whatever.
But you've seen times where there's been, like in the Tamarack, where everybody's got a 2-foot putt and you don't know who's putting and you're stepping on their guys' lines. Like, and then you rush putting it and miss it, and then your next 3 holes are trash because you missed a 2-foot putt. Like I've done that countless times at the Tamarack. But
or you take like a weird stance and miss it because you're scared of stepping on their line for 2 feet. Like your footprint's going to make such a big deal when you can't make a divot on the greens from 100 yards. But
probably the only way to totally even the field and make everybody play by the same rules would be, okay, say at the start of the tournament that anything within a foot or whatever it may be is good. Then there's no subjectiveness to it.
Right, like everybody get a piece of string, and that's what your gimme's going to be.
But we talked about that before. All you'd have to do is just get something that's a foot and just do a circle around the hole. And if you're inside that circle, gimme. If not, you got to play.
It shouldn't be subjective, in my opinion. It should be very cut and dry. Either you're in the hole or you're taking a foot gimmies, or it's, I don't know. Yeah, for tournaments anyways. For men's night, it should be subjective because you're playing against the guys and they can do what they want. But if everybody's counting their strokes and playing by the same rules, it should be very cut and dry, and there should be no way around it.
So obviously you had a good question, Jeff. We just debated it for 20 minutes. So it was a good question.
So the next one comes from Maddie LePage. Wants to comment, or you boys to comment on those effing wires on the flag sticks and how it can deflect your ball out. So I'm assuming that he's talking about the lifts, the ball lifts around the pins that they had going on. I think we've talked about those things a couple times. Oak Island had them, Verdun had them. They're straight up a pain in the ass.
My only response is it is what it is. I actually kind of like those lifts, but because I like that the ball can actually fall down to the bottom of the hole.
Right, I like that better than like
foam.
I don't know, because your chance of having something going sideways is better with a greater size of pin, right? Like if you're hitting a larger pin,
that's
deflect it worse than a pool noodle.
Yeah.
Without getting too far into the COVID hole, I hate them. I think that it makes no sense. You're reaching in there and picking up your ball anyways. I'm not going to wreck my $500 putter by lifting that metal piece up.
I started doing that at the end of the week because they had the rubber over top of the steel so that it couldn't damage your putter. And it was actually I kind of got into a little routine, like just walking up and popping it out of the hole. It's kind of a badass thing to do. I'm never gonna miss it, but
I saw 3 or 4 times during the course of the week where guys hit a putt that should have went in, and it hits that it's almost like a spring, like it hits that thing and shoots straight back. And so by the end of it, guys were turning the flag so that thing wasn't in the path of the ball. Okay. Which defeats the whole purpose of not touching the flags anyway. So that's it's another thing that added to the list of things that make absolutely no sense.
Yeah, enough of the COVID talk. Okay, the last question that we're going to review here from another good buddy of mine, Evan Marsh. I think it's Evan Marsh. Jordy wrote March, but I'm pretty sure it's Marshy. He's another loyal follower. He's giving me some pointers on what to do. He likes that we review Caesars. Marshy, I thought I'd let you know I cracked open my first jar of pickled beans from this year. I had 6 of them in my Caesar. If you watch the YouTube video, you can see me obnoxiously chomping them down, but you don't have to do that. Anyways, his question is thoughts on one-length golf clubs.
Have you ever tried this?
Like Bryson?
Yeah. I'll say I really regret buying those irons that I bought only for the fact that I didn't try those one lengths because the way that I've kind of go figure I changed my swing again to do something else. But the swing that I have right now, I choke down. So basically I hit every shot with the same length of club, whether it's my 4-iron or pitching wedge. So I choke down, so I'd probably lose distance from where I would if everything was just the same length. I'd be interested to try them, actually.
Yeah, I think I would too. What length would you go?
I would go pitching wedge.
Really?
Oh.
I go 7-iron.
Yeah, I'd go 8 or 7-iron for sure. I think that I would love to try it as well. I think anytime you can make things more simple and more consistent, it's always going to be a good thing. I don't see a whole lot of downside to it. And I think that the upside would be if you've ever spent some time on the range or the course with a beginner or somebody who's not as familiar with the game, they struggle a lot with where the ball position is between their feet and how far to stand away from it. If you're been around the game enough, you know how to adjust, but there's even times where I'm like, am I standing too close to it? Is the ball too far ahead? You know what I mean? And if you had something that's like standardized and you could just hit your shot and swing, I'm all for that. So I'm a big fan of that, and I would love to try them out.
That'd be why a lot of beginners have like a go-to club, right? Like if you hit your 7-iron good, like you're just going to hit it from 200 yards or you're going to hit it from 100 yards.
Yeah, right.
Is his driver like that though too, or no?
I wouldn't think the driver, but I don't
think so.
It's just the irons, right?
A driver with a pitching wedge iron.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Those are good. Those are good questions, man. That was fun to review.
They should all be the size of a driver. Hit a wedge is the length of a driver, a putter.
I gotta stand with my same goofy ass stance for every club.
Okay, well, I think that wraps up the first part of this. I don't really know. We have a whole bunch of new things we got going on here. We got headphones. We got video now. We have a premium account, Zoom account. We were on the basic for a while, and we had to shut her down halfway through. So what do we do now, boys?
I gotta go back to my phone audio for a few minutes here and charge up my phone. This is wildly annoying. Like, you have no idea, but here I go.
Okay, well, how are we going to transition this with video? I guess we can just use that. This is the transition. Break is over, boys. All right, tonight's free ad is brought to you by King Golf.
Oh,
We're 9 episodes in, and believe it or not, King Golf has not been the free ad yet. So we wanted to take this chance to advertise King Golf. We got a website now. By the time you guys hear this on Friday morning, the website will be going. It's already going now, but we just haven't told anybody about it yet. So head over to King Golf. We got all of our, we got a few head covers on there. We got some hats, some hoodies, some shirts, some new shirts. Everything's on there. So in case you don't know who King Golf is, and if you've never been here before, we make custom head covers right here in Manitoba. We have an awesome lady named Lucy in Alexander. She does all the production, the cutting, the sewing, and assembling. So we design them, and we got some, like I mentioned, hats, hoodies, what you see right here, Rigo, drums, and good stuff. So if you're listening to this, check out our website. And that's it, kinggolf.ca. That is the website. Tonight's free ad. I also want to give a few shout outs to a few people who just had some random questions or things we didn't really have time to discuss. So first one was Kyle McLeod. He asked who's going to win the blue chair this year. Obviously, Team Shimmy and Doobie. Blue chair is our year-end event for our golf league. The two winners of the league get to be the captains, and we do a Ryder Cup style format for 2 days. Dylan Thornborough asks, anyone pick the right champ for the PGA this year? So we did a contest on our Instagram, and Dylan ended up picking Morikawa. So he's getting a free hat, and he's pretty close to doing his 20 and 22. So we're going to ship that out with his free hat. Thomas Friesen asks when he gets to come on and talk about covering the Tamarack this year. We should just send a quick shout out to Thomas.
Shout out to him. It was pretty easy to follow along on Twitter with him.
Yeah, he's a Manitoba version of who's on the course. Patty, what's her name? Dottie Pepper?
Oh, yeah.
Or
Tiger Tracker?
Faraday? Yeah, Tiger Tracker. So Thomas Friesen did a hell of a job at the Tamarack this year. His tweets were pretty entertaining. You got some great photos out there. And like we said before, we golfed with Thomas in Minnedosa this year. He's a great golfer, great guy. And I'm sure it would have been pretty painful to follow everybody around and just take pictures and tweet. So lots of credit to him for that. JP, Justin Pro, just wanted to talk about Cody Powell shooting 38. So Cody's in our league too. Shot a 76, won the days. It was his career round at the Tamarack.
Nice. By Poundy.
Yeah, he qualified pretty low. He was pretty intimidated going in there, but I mean, you got to be proud of that. So shout out to Pounder for that, and just a shout out to Dustin Dick. We got nothing but good things to say about him. He's an incredible golfer. Rigo and myself and Dad refer to him as almost like a robot. He's just so consistent and steady out there, and it's back-to-back championships for him. So That's pretty cool, I think. I mean, it'd
It's
be
impressive as
a
hell, yeah.
dream of mine to win it or even come close to winning it, and he did it back-to-back years. So, um, good job, Dustin.
That's 8 matches in a row winning in the championship fight. Like
That's wild.
That's good golf, man.
Yeah.
We should do another
So
big
that's
shout
us.
out. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Who
I was gonna
else?
say we should do another big shout out to our Kingdom alumni. Aaron Cockrell had a good weekend the week after being on the pod. I think he had tied for 14th, so that's best finish of the year.
Not bad.
Last week was a little
What
rougher.
happens when you come on here, baby?
Yeah. Last week was a little rougher, but those conditions that he was playing in last week were nuts.
Looked ridiculous on his Instagram, man. That video he posted takes you like, because you're kind of watching the leaderboard and you're thinking, how did they tear apart this course the week before? Same course. And you see those conditions, and it's like, holy smokes. Like, look at that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That's it's crazy. I'm thinking in the future we'll get into. I kind of want to talk about Ireland, golfing in Ireland, in a little bit more detail. But just quickly on that, we played a course in Ireland, and the caddy that was with us said that Sergio shot a 63 or 64 out there on the course, and then the next day shot a 82 because the wind switched and picked up. So that's how much of an impact the wind plays out there. Especially on a lot of those links courses. But yeah, attaboy, Aaron. Keep up the good work, buddy. And I know we just talked about it on our brief little break there, but we're kind of going a little bit over time here. We're catching up on 2 weeks. We got a shitload of stuff to talk about here. So if we run about 10 minutes past tonight, hopefully you guys will hang in there. So let's get to our segments. Who's going first?
Go ahead, Drummy.
All right,
you guys hear me or see me?
I've actually got a book recommendation this week.
Oh, a book, Drums.
Yeah. This one is called Breaking Away. It's the Patrick O'Sullivan story. So he was a hockey player. I think he played 300 and some NHL games with LA, Edmonton, Carolina, Minnesota, I think. So it's a story kind of his life. He went through an insane amount of physical and mental abuse from his dad. His dad was like the craziest hockey parent of all time. Like some of the stories were crazy. Like his dad would beat him with extension cords, left him outside in the snow if he had a bad hockey game. And so it kind of just goes through some crazy stories and his dealings with his mental health issues afterwards, and kind of getting himself into a place where he's comfortable again, just living his life. So that's my book recommendation, my first book recommendation. But that's my recommendation for this week.
What was it called, Drums? Breaking Away?
Breaking Away, yeah.
Breaking Away. Yeah, that's wild. I've only seen a few things on the internet about that stuff. I think he did a Players Tribune article or something on it.
If it was that, he did. He was on a Spit and Chicklets episode 2, and
yeah,
a bunch of stuff where he talks about that stuff. Yeah,
I think there might have been one of those athletic interviews about it.
Maybe
too.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I signed up for that.
Crazy story.
$36 I paid. I used to always crave reading those articles, and I paid $36 for the year, and I haven't read one since. Unfortunate purchase.
Is it a happy ending on their, Drums? It must be.
Yeah, like he's doing good now. He was doing radio for TSN and doing calling, I guess, like in between games for Leafs games and stuff like that. And then he got away from that, and he's doing like schools now, hockey schools and stuff in Toronto. So, yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
That's me.
Slide into
Stroke
this week's Stroke Saver. Don't follow me for Money Savers, because I just told you I purchased The Athletic and haven't read one article yet, so it's not very smart. But anyway, Stroke Saver. So Stroke Saver this week, it's nothing crazy. Obviously, I didn't use too many stroke savers in the qualifying at the Tamarack, so it's tough for you guys to want to listen to me. But I see it more often than not in men's night. I always throw Dad under the bus, but it's just because I golf with him every week, and I see he's like an amateur golfer that I see quite often. So if you get into a spot when you're in the bush and 2 club lengths could get you out, or taking unplayable and going back as far as you can in line with the flag could get you out of trouble. But you want to play a heroic shot to gain yourself 20 yards, or you go for something just crazy. 90% of the time on men's night, or just in the weekend golfers, you're better off just taking the 2 club lengths, taking the 1 shot. You take the big numbers out of play and you just get back on with the hole. I mean, we've talked about pace of play on this too. You go in the bush and look for your ball and you find it, and you take 5 minutes to get yourself set up to hit it. And then you either hit it a foot or blast it through into the other bush, and then you're looking again. Just
Or miss it.
know the rules, miss the ball, whack it a couple more times, and then just pick up. So just take the 2 club lengths or the unplayable and just keep yourself in the hole, and you'll enjoy the round a lot more than leaning up against a tree and getting a twig up the ass or whatever it may be. Just play the rules to your advantage and take the drop and move on. And Jory, you mentioned this to me, and it is a very true tip. Like, lots of guys always try to chop it out, and it rarely ever works.
It's a very low success rate, I would say.
Unless you're Phil Mickelson.
And a very high chance of missing the ball, which is a stroke, or hitting it 2 inches and having to hit it again, or just like hitting another tree and going back in the bush, and then you're just doing it all over again. Or losing the ball. So it's 1 stroke. It's just treat it like a hazard, right? Like,
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't have much issues when they hit it to a red stake and have to take it out. It's 1 stroke. But all of a sudden, when it's in the bush, they think that they can pull off the greatest shot of their life. So, yeah, we saw that a whole bunch this weekend, I think, in the Tamarack with the spruce trees and the bushes, and because it is more open and there's more chance of doing it.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're in the bush for a reason, so don't try to pull off some hero move that
like Snoop said before, don't follow up a bad shot with a dumb one.
Yeah.
And that's basically the ruling there. So
Yep.
That's my stroke saver. I'll try to come up with something a little more game related, not so much just I like that, actually. I like that too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. And a lot of people, if they keep that in their head, they'll save a lot of 7s and 8s or 9s and 10s in the Tamarack.
What you got for us this week, Jor?
Jor's Junk Drawer. Today's episode, I don't know. I came up with this a little while ago, and I don't know. I might just start tossing some random business ideas out here too, and kind of see what feedback we get for it. So one of the ideas we had going back a couple months was to have, those boxes that you get in the mail every month, like a subscription type deal. Would it not make sense to have that for golf? Like you get a box in the mail once a month with your golf balls that you hit every time, some tees, maybe a ball marker. You probably don't need once a month, but some shirts, just some random golf, because there's so many gadgets and gadgets out there. Like, I don't know. I think that would be so cool to get in the mail.
They do have that.
Do they?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I haven't really looked into it or anything, but I think that there's a lot of these things I'm not really inventing the wheel, but I think that I've never heard of it, so clearly that can be. Yeah.
It's called Short Par 4, and it was actually the only way I found out about it. I saw it on Twitter, and it was actually endorsed by Ricky. But it's what, like, I mean, so there's one person that does it. I'm sure there's room for more than one person. And that's basically, it's just an outfit. You had the idea of balls and everything for the month. It could be gloves.
Oh, it's an outfit.
More of an
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you threw in some balls like that you need for the month, like a couple dozen Pro Vs or something, and
you'd register for it, You'd go through a questionnaire and see kind of what your preferences are, what kind of ball you hit. So you'd have to keep the same type of things because you don't want to be getting a different random ball every month, especially if you're a more serious golfer. But and then mix some cool gadgets in there and stuff. I think that'd be pretty cool. So I guess the ask on that would be, like, what would you want to have in it, and how much would you be willing to pay for it? I guess.
Right.
Because it would depend how much you can charge. Would depend on what kind of contents are in it. So I think that'd be cool. It might be something that we might look into next year for doing. And you'd get maybe a head cover or something once a year, maybe a golf shirt or a hoodie once a year and stuff, and then just get your monthly supplies that you need for the course once a month. So I don't know. Thought it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
I would
actually
pay for that. Oh, so you guys like that better than my courier idea?
Yes.
And your merging brand idea. I like this one better than that one. I thought of you though when we were in Brandon on the weekend there. I thought of you.
Oh, did you? So did you go in the right lane then?
No.
What?
I never have. I never will either.
Why? I don't know. That's for another time, but I just don't understand that at all.
I feel like an asshole if I do it.
So do we got time for
To be
questions
honest.
then, or what?
Oh, yeah.
You shouldn't feel like an asshole though. You're helping things move in a steady flow. That's how it's meant to be. That's how every city in the world operates.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah.
You're a
Whatever.
dick. You're a dick if you're backing up traffic for 3 blocks and guys can't pass the green light going the other way. So
Hey, get off this subject.
Okay.
What do you got for a question for us tonight?
You want me to go again? I'm tired of talking. You go.
Okay, I kind of scrambled, honestly. I've had a lot of shit on the go here, but I really like the question I came up with tonight. So of the 4 majors, or let's say 5, so there's NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and I'm going to use the PGA. If you had to try to blend in as best as you could for one game of any of those sports, which one do you think you could blend in the best at? Being yourself.
I'd probably say baseball.
Yeah?
I mean,
yeah.
I'm fucked hitting, but
Yeah.
you just
I don't know.
throw me out in the outfield. I can catch a ball.
I just came up with that when we were sitting here, and I love the question because I really don't know what it would be for me either.
I'd get dummied in the NBA. I'd get dummied in hockey.
Like you're blending in
Slaughtered
terms of
in
like
PGA.
hoping people don't notice that you're there for a
like
day
just
contract.
try to blend in, yeah, so it's not so obvious that you're yourself.
I don't know. I think that I would say golf because it's individual. And if you're shooting plus 30, there's no way the cameras are following you anyways. So
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have
Yeah.
included golf, but I just think the other sports, like it would just be like hilarious to see, like just an average person out there, like in the middle of like
It'd be an absolute
The
dog
NH
show.
the
Or
NHL
football.
looks slow on TV, but like when you watch it in person, like imagine being
God.
caught out there for a shift.
no, I'd say football because you could just like kind of run around and
Oh,
I'm
yeah, until you get
I'm
one
not
of
getting hit by one of those.
those, you get one of those big boys running at you and chop block you, and you're like in the hospital for a month.
just get out of their way though. I mean, yeah, you'll have Tony Romo roast you, but
Yeah, but then yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
You're not. I don't know. I think baseball too.
Yeah.
Baseball would depend on the position because
I just think that'd be so. Imagine like I come in as a relief pitcher in the MLB, just get absolutely roasted, like 9 home runs in anything.
Might throw him off with all the muffins you'd be throwing.
Yeah, just throwing them on
Yeah.
their head and shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought
That's true.
that's a pretty cool question. I don't know.
yeah, I like it. I remember playing hockey, like senior hockey, and it would be the teams that weren't as skilled. They were the worst to play against because you had absolutely no idea what they were going to do.
So unpredictable.
Yeah. Drums, you want to go?
Kate, so now since now, Jor, that you're in the illustrious club, better feeling, losing your virginity or your first hole-in-one?
Is it just for me?
No, for everybody.
I don't know. It's a pretty close tie. I can't pick one because I'd say both were pretty good days.
I don't remember either.
Although I didn't have 60 people texting me when the virginity was lost. I'd say for yeah, we'll go with hole-in-one.
I decline from comment.
No comment? I'm
No
probably going
comment.
hole-in-one too.
That's a funny question.
Well, yeah, and the thing with that is too, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into this, overthinking this question, but you know that you're going to lose your virginity at some point, but you don't know if you're going to get a hole-in-one.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a better chance you'll have sex again in your life than getting a hole-in-one again.
Hey, anyways.
Good question, Drums.
Hey, just a real quick shout out before I forget. Mark Odett from Dauphin, we've talked about him on here, hell of a golfer. He had an albatross at the Tamarack.
Oh yeah,
on
right.
5.
That's right.
Also very impressive. Well, just a shout out to Odie. That's awesome. He was the runner up in the first flight also. So heck of a week, Odie, and good playing.
How far was he? He would have been further than me for sure.
He said about $170 or $180, I think.
Yeah,
maybe
and that's
farther.
a hard green too.
Oh, definitely.
Like I mean, it's an easier green probably to hit, but it's just that green's so weird. I find anyways, because there's a false front at the front, and yeah,
it protects
good job,
for
Odie.
sure. What do you got first tonight, Jor?
Oh, I don't really want to follow that question up at all. That's might be the question of the season so far. Are we doing seasons here, or is it episodes?
Episodes.
I honestly don't want to. Okay, I'll ask a question. But if you guys had the choice between, there's lots of options here tonight. There isn't like just one answer of your own. But if you had the choice between owning your own golf course, like say you won the lottery or something, or you're really well off, would you rather own a golf course around here anywhere, or have like a private membership, say in like New York or something like that?
I'd rather own my own.
I think so too.
Really?
Then you can make it yours. Those private places, whatever. They're cool, but they're look at how much money I have, club, I think, but
Dick measuring?
yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, because then you can
I
do
think that,
whatever you want on your own course.
Oh, it'd be so cool to have your own course, man.
Yeah, it'd be unreal. I don't know how much
Would you
money you
close
actually
at
make
9?
from it.
Zero.
Who cares?
Don't
You're
care about
loaded.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So piss on it. You just do whatever you want.
Okay, so
I
it's
would
a
hire-
unanimous vote. Own your own
Oh.
golf course.
I would hire Ryan Horn as my superintendent too. Horny,
Start
if you're listening,
saving money.
He would be my superintendent. Yeah, let's
All right,
do it.
well, we need to turn these free ads into paid ads. No, just kidding. We don't want to do that.
King Golf isn't paying to be on this tonight.
No. So yeah, that's first episode on video. What do you guys think?
I picked a bad one to be the first one on video with all my technical difficulties.
Yeah, you were.
Plus, my cheeks are red.
Some
My cheeks
shenanigans.
don't usually get red when I have.
My cheeks were pretty red when Drums asked that question, but other than that, I thought it was pretty good. I really need to spruce up and clean this office a little bit, but
Are you going to come in a
Another day.
suit next week?
so
You could just-
anyways.
You could just block out the whole room.
Just put a
Drums
drop
is
cloth
going to-
behind.
Oh yeah, I could get like a beach in the background or something.
Yeah.
Drums is going to edit this and throw her on YouTube. So we'll I'm sure if you're listening to this, we'll have some, we don't have anything yet, but we'll have a YouTube channel by then. And Drums, send us off.
All right. As always, thanks again to everybody for listening. Hope you continue with us. Stay tuned. We'll keep pumping these out as long as people are listening, and look to keep adding some new cool shit. Peace out. Love you, boys.
See you, fellas.
Cheers, boys. Love you. Talk to you soon. Oh, there you go.